think
lead a horse to water to make it drink a little bit.
Part of what this Trey'Dez Green story can kind of do.
People
Although you want, him to go on the floor and play and create a better team, it'll get more of a draw.
Oh,
when your starting tight end is on the basketball team.
Oh, you will never hear chants louder than when if Trey'Dez is on the bench and they're up, 15 or whatever.
Oh yeah,
he'll be the most popular. He'll be the most popular player on the team.
Yeah,
I would imagine, because everybody knows who he is, especially coming off the bowl game that he just had.
Right,
and that's where Brian Kelly's going. I don't even know how you handle this conversation.
Not me neither.
Because if it's up to him, ultimately, I would imagine. And we talked about this with Jared Mitchell, who had to do this. Obviously, he played football and baseball. And he's like, it does slow you down. Like, there's things that they're doing football-wise that you're not doing because you're playing a different sport and you're training for different things. And if you're Trey'Dez Green, you don't necessarily want him running sprints up and down a basketball court. You're trying to figure out how much weight to put on him to play tight end every down. And so it's kind of a conflict of interest for the football team. But if he wants to play basketball, you want to keep him happy, first of all.
Well, and also, I mean, there is a sense of when it comes to basketball. Yeah, obviously. But even on the basketball end, you don't want to create a mess, in my opinion. I think there could be a negative effect on the basketball team because it takes a while for football guys to adjust to basketball.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Shape. Yeah, I mean, at Central, we've had 3 guys come from a state title-winning football team that were all 3 starters on the football team, a D end, a cornerback, and a wide receiver. And, we're 2 weeks, 3 weeks into having them back, and we're still trying to, they're playing 5 minutes at a time because they're
it's totally
they're huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
They're, trying to, you have to adjust from, in football, it's all hands. Like, there's feet involved, but like when you're a corner, this has been my biggest thing with our guy that played corner was when he's guarding the ball, the second they try to cross over, he's like, he's trying to like press them. I'm like, buddy, you got to get your hands here.
Outside.
This is it. You got to be wide, move your feet. Like it's a completely different sport, so you don't want to push Trey'Dez. Fans yell for him to get on the court. He gets out there, and it can mess with his confidence. It can mess with Collins and Chess confidence because he's taking their minute, things like that. There's a lot of pieces that you kind of have to juggle.
Right, and it's almost easier to just say,
just play football.
Just play football. And then, but at the end of the day, it's his decision. Do you think, I've only seen him play highlights, but if he plays basketball for 3 or 4 years, is he NBA? Do you think that because that would be my biggest question is, I think he could clearly be a pro in the NFL. Like if this kid, like the body type, what position he plays, that's where the NFL is kind of going. But if he wants to play basketball, the NBA money is so much more, and 100%. You don't even have to be a starter.
100%. To me, I think when it comes to the professional route, I think his best bet is football. Mm-hmm. Just because, one, just look at the numbers of players on the roster. I mean, 53 versus
11.
Yeah, 15. And 3 of them are usually two-way guys. I think he's obviously athletically gifted enough to be a professional basketball player, but there's a lot more skill involved in basketball when it comes to going pro than football, even. Especially at the positions he's playing, because in football at 6'7", you're a giant. In basketball, 6'7", you're Draymond Green.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is unbelievable. Like, you see Myles Garrett and Steph Curry look at each other eye to eye. And then
you put Trey'Dez on a football field, it's like, who was that?
Right. And on a basketball court, he's looking up to people.
Yeah.
To me, that's the biggest knock. To me, that's the calling card for him.
Big enough.
Is size-wise, on a football field, you are a monster. On a basketball court, you kind of have to show off a little bit more. Because a 6'7" guy is a guard. Mm-hmm. That's a guard in basketball, and from not saying he doesn't have the skill set, but he wasn't a guard in high school. In high school at 6'7", you're a post player.
Right.
That's been one of our adjustments. We have a 6'5" guy on our team at Central, and he's a post guy for us, but we want to get some of the perimeter stuff going because he's not going to be a post in college.
No.
If he wants to go play somewhere, they're not going to say, put the 6'5" guy on the 7-footer.
Right.
So it's an interesting spot for LSU with Trey'Dez. Obviously, if he really wants to play basketball, it's his decision, and I think he does. but it really comes down to who is in his ear, who, like, when it comes to, because those are the decisions they have to discuss. NBA versus NFL, money, opportunity, money, all these different things. Like, you're juggling a lot trying to figure it out. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, just the decision. Obviously, if it's made one way where he just becomes a football player,
right,
the story's over.
Yes.
Right? Like, I don't think he ever really attempts to play basketball again until, I don't know. But
Right.
if he does both, then it's going to be a continuing thing because then you'll have the football crowd. If he plays basketball and he doesn't have an elite sophomore season, it's because he wastes all of his time playing basketball.
Of course.
So you have to, this fan base, obviously very knowledgeable, very, very
Yes. Oh my gosh, the smartest
tame.
fan base. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't jump to conclusions at all.
Ever.
So that is something that you are juggling, and I think that's maybe part of the reason that maybe football moved him to tight end. I know you obviously lost Mason Taylor, but it's to give him a defined role,
right?
As opposed, and that's why you probably moved him at wide receiver at the middle of the year to keep him on the field,
get him on the field,
right? Because if he doesn't play, then he's going to go play basketball. He's like, I don't really do a lot out here, so I'll go do something where maybe I can help the team.
And he will. Like, if he plays basketball, like, obviously, like I said, it's going to take an adjustment on his end. But if he adjusts, he will help the basketball team. So, like, he will play. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't imagine he's not going to go play basketball and sit on the bench, because if that was the case, he would just say, okay, I'm going to play football. So it's going to be interesting couple of weeks. I don't really know when this decision gets made.
Jordy was saying on Friday that it would be made today.
So which makes sense.
Yeah, you would think that he was probably, like, Matt McMahon has probably got questions about it from the media. Yeah, you would see, because you want to give him some time to be able to adjust from football to basketball to making the decision to play basketball. Like, he was on the roster at one point.
Yeah,
like,
he took media day photos.
Yeah, he's number 8.
Yeah, and so and it's gonna take, I would say, 2 weeks to really get the mindset and the little intangible things shifted from football to basketball. Getting back in shape, obviously he's a freak athlete, so I wouldn't think it would take too long, but it is a very different sport when it comes to,
you're running a lot. It's not a burst of football plays last between 8 to 12 seconds.
Right.
And then you have, considering what you're doing, you have 15 seconds off.
Right.
This, you're